Okay. Thank you everyone for taking time to attend today. I wanted to thank Wanda Twig and the Maryland Retired School Personnel Association for inviting us in. Of course, thank you to Lana and Heidi for doing the logistics, getting us set up to go today. We're going to be talking about the Greek Isles and Italy with Norwegian Cruise Lines on the Epic. We have a PowerPoint and we're going to go through a little bit about the ship and the itinerary, and then we'll do questions and answers at the end, if that's okay. So we're going to start with our PowerPoint of what is included on this trip. And this trip is going to include the round trip airfare from Baltimore, your transfers to and from the ship, of course, your full cruise, your port charges, government fees, taxes. Got some great perks on this one. We did include all of your gratuities. That is both gratuities, your service gratuities, which covers your cabin steward, all of the busboys, all of the waiters, maitre d's throughout the cruise, as well as some of the perks require gratuities that are usually added on at the end. And this group has decided to include everything from the beginning. So all of your gratuities for the beverage package and for the specialty dining is all included in this trip. Okay. The perks, we're going to go over the perks first. Norwegian is giving, and it's going to depend on what kind of cabin you take. If you choose an inside cabin, you'll get to choose 2 of these perks. If you choose a balcony, all 4 perks are included. So I'm going to go over the 4 perks. Unlimited open bar, meaning that everything, your beers, wines, sodas, drinks, cocktails, spirits, everything is included in that package. Specialty dining, you'll get to go there. If you take a balcony, you'll get two separate nights at different specialty dining areas. If you do an inside, you'll get to choose 1 specialty dining dinner for both you and your cabin mate. 150 minutes of internet package per room, and a $50 shore excursions included. Plus, everybody will receive $100 onboard credit as part of the perks on this. Okay. So the itinerary, the next slide on this is the ports of call. Excellent, excellent ports. This trip is going to start in Rome, and then you'll have 1 day at sea, and that will be the only time at sea in this 11-day trip. Every day you're in port, but 1 day. So it's day 2, which will be nice because you'll be able to familiarize yourself with the ship and do some of the activities that they have on board before stopping at ports, which will come in on day 3. Santorini, Athens, Mykonos, Corfu, Malta, Sicily, Naples, and Florence. 11th day is back to Rome, where you'll fly home from there. Okay. So Rome, I don't know if anybody has been there or not. Fascinating city. You know, so many sites to go and see and do. You'll really have to pick and choose. And the shore excursions are available 90 days prior to departure. So once you're signed up for the trip, you'll automatically get an email at 90 days prior on what shore excursions are available for each one of the ports. We can help our company, our girls here in operations can help sign up for those, or you can, if you're good at the computer, you can do that on your own. And there is so many to list for Rome. most people want to go through and do a city tour, visiting some of the cathedrals and the Colosseum, um, get those little meals at some of the side open air cafes there. Um, so much history and culture in this city. If you have time, the Vatican, you'd have to do that early in the morning, but they're going to list all of those short excursions for you. Next day, Santorini. I was just in Santorini last October. If you haven't been there, it is fascinating. I think it's the most pictured spot of all of Greece. You know, when you see those pictures of the white buildings with the blue domes on the top, most of those pictures are taken in Santorini. When we were there, we did a catamaran cruise that went out and visited some of the beaches, and you got time to swim in the Aegean Sea. On board, we didn't even know, we signed up, of course, on the ship there for one of these short excursions, and they didn't even mention, but the crew made lunch for us while we were out swimming. It was just amazing, an amazing day. That only took up half of the day. So then in the afternoon, we went to the top. And when I say went to the top, in Santorini, there's only 3 ways to get to the top. You can either do a cable car, which a lot of people do. I think they charged like €8 each way to do that. Or you could walk to the top, or you could take a donkey to the top. Mm-hmm. Okay. And if you do it one way, you can do it another way coming back, with whatever works for you. At the top there, a lot of people, there's tons and tons of stores up there and local little restaurants and bars, but the views are just incredible. We went to a local church up there. So lots of things that when I tell you it's very photographed spot, you're going to want to take a lot of photographs. I had never been to Greece before last October, and I just had a different, I thought it was going to be different than what it was. The people there were very warm and gracious. I can't wait to go back again. I want to spend a whole week there. So that's Santorini. Lots of tours that you'll have to choose from coming up that they'll get over to you, like I said, when they send those over to you at 90 days. Next port is Athens. Big city, very big city. But we did, when we were there, we did the hop on, hop off tour. Very inexpensive. If you can get your way around, it stopped at like 19 different spots, which was great for us because we could choose what we wanted to do and what we didn't want to do. On our trip, we had been to other places that had Acropolises there. So we, going to the top of the Acropolis wasn't at the top of our list, which takes some time. But if you haven't done that, that's a must to do there. And that's stop number 1. We went to the original spot where they had the Olympics, where that started. There's tons of little market areas that you can stop off. Every single one of the stops, when you look up, you can see the Acropolis, which is just amazing views. But great food there, lots of local vendors on the street. You're going to want to do tours, especially if you like architectural things and structures. You're going to want to go on some of the old city tours there, and they have a lot to choose from there. So that is Athens. Mykonos. Mykonos, a lot, again, with the whitewashed homes and the blue domed buildings there. They have 20 beaches, and they're all magnificent. It's called the Isle of Wind. Lots of fun, active, adventurous little tours there, or you can take a day and just go to the beach. Beautiful spot. Corfu, it is the garden aisle, tons of olive and citrus trees everywhere. They have a gorgeous marina with all the colored boats there, quaint little cafes and secluded coves. Again, lots of beaches there. Really and truly, I mean, I didn't go to one of the Greek Isles that I didn't love. And the people, I always grade a trip on how the people treat you, and they are just warm, gracious, wonderful people at every single one of the spots we stopped at. So we're moving on to Malta, and Valletta is their capital there. It's very historic. You're gonna lots of history tours. It's about a 15-minute walk from where the boat is going to be to get over to the town. But if you do a tour, they'll pick you up right there at the boat. It's a must to walk through the historic part of the town. The agriculture, the art there is incredible. St. John's Cathedral. There are piazzas there, the gardens. It's just a beautiful spot. And a lot of people haven't been there before, so that should be pretty interesting for you. Next spot is in Sicily. Sicily was just gorgeous. Most people there want to go and they want to see Mount Etna or the Valley of the Temples. They had a lot of tours to go up to Mount Etna. They even had some where it was more like almost a spa day, because this volcanic ash is so rich in nutrients that they have some spots where you can go up there and swim and do some mud baths, and besides all of the normal tours that you can do there. I got voted out on that one. I wanted to do Mount Etna while we were there, but my husband said I had gotten to pick a lot of the tours on this trip, so he wanted to do the Godfather tour. So we did the Godfather tour. It was fascinating because, you know, the Godfather movies are very famous. I'm sure everybody has seen some of them, but they brought you up into the mountains. Most of the roads there are very curvy, and you get these dramatic views up at the top of these mountains. And that's where most of The Godfather was filmed, up in these mountains. They took us to the church where they actually got married. They took us to that cafe where the big shooting thing happened. And but it was great going through all of these little towns. I was glad we did the tour, and it's a good little ride to get there. So you learn a lot about the city. Beautiful, great restaurants, lots of fresh seafood there if you want to get any of that. We made a mistake when we went there. The Godfather tour was only a half a day long, and we should have packed a bathing suit with us under our clothes, because we did stop off at the beach. We had a couple hours. I was dying to get in there because the beaches are gorgeous. And they're right there by where your ship is. So lots of fascinating, wonderful things. Besides all the, I mean, I didn't even mention, I didn't go shopping there, but a lot of our people did. And the jewelry and the leather goods. I mean, a lot of people waited to go shopping until they got to Sicily. So there is plenty to do there. So that's Sicily. Naples. Now, Naples, I would suggest, I mean, a lot of people are going to want to go over and do Pompeii. They also offer Sorrento. They offer the Amalfi Coast. There is a lot of things to do there. We, again, this was we did a very long trip too, with lots of ports. And this was another one of my husband's picks. So we did the pizza tour where you test all the pizzas. Yeah. I would have definitely done something different. I honestly wouldn't suggest that. I wouldn't suggest staying there in Naples. It's a very big city. I just didn't feel safe there. So go out, and if I had to do it all over again, I would definitely do the Amalfi Coast. we had just been to Portofino the year before, and I thought the Amalfi Coast would be close to that, but I should have did it because that was amazing, and it's a great experience there. But so please, whatever you want to do, it is very rich in history. They do have a lot of cathedrals, and they have some castles there and piazzas, but your next stop that you're going to be going to is Florence, and you talk about piazzas. That's where you want to. Florence is personally my favorite city in all of Italy. It's magical there. We did the Leaning Tower of Pisa as it's part of the tour there. That's kind of like a tourist thing, but it was fun getting the pictures, with your hands up in the air, pretending like you're holding up the tower and all of that stuff. But once you get to Florence, first of all, the ride getting there, you're going through Tuscany and the rolling hills of all of these gorgeous homes that they have there with all of the olive plantations is something to see before you even get there. And then, they have the leather market there in town. Everybody wants to go and see the Statue of David. But when you get really into these little squares, there's these piazzas where they have the little local shops and these gorgeous fountains and all the local little restaurants that have all their specialties and their good wine. That's really where you get the flavor of Florence. So there, again, tons of tours to choose from there. Excellent itinerary. Again, the last day you'll fly home from Rome. On the way in, you're going to, because you'll take a nighttime flight over, all flights leave at night. You'll get there in the morning. We'll get into the times in just a minute. Let me go on to the cost. On the last part of our PowerPoint, the inside cabin I see is $64.32, or a balcony is $73.75. The deposit policy is $350 per person, or if you're going to do a single cabin, the per person deposit doubles to $700, as does the price almost double. So if anybody needs a single, just let us know. You can do monthly payments or bi-weekly payments or bi-monthly payments for this, or no payments at all. You can just do your deposit and your final payment, which is due April 4th of 2025. Whichever works best for you is how we work that. I want to give you, maybe we should do the itinerary real fast. And I think we have a picture of that itinerary.
Yeah, I gotta find it.
The itinerary, you'll see that there are great times that we have in these ports. You'll arrive early that morning in Rome, and you will not depart until 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Next day we talked about was at sea for the day. When you're in Santorini, you're there from 2 p.m. till 10 p.m. And I'll tell you, it is, when you're there, if you're out on the ship or you're by the coastline and it's just starting to get dusk there, just look up at this island. It's unbelievable because all of the buildings are white with these blue tops and the crosses on there. And when they're lit up at nighttime, it's something else. It is really something to see. Athens, you'll be there from 7 in the morning till 6 p.m. and you're going to need every second there. Mykonos, 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. Corfu, you'll get there at noontime and you're there till 7 p.m. Malta, you arrive at 1:30 p.m. and you're there till 10 p.m. Sicily, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Naples, 6:30 a.m. to 4:15, and Florence from 9 a.m. till 8:30 p.m. So we have people, say, well, how about our meals? Well, the tours that you sign up for, they'll be able to tell you whether there's meals included or not. But if it's like a half-day tour and you come back to the ship and have your meal, you can go back out in the afternoon and do more touring or shopping. Or, there's a lot of people that want to experience, once they're there, a meal. So you could do that, at lunch or at dinner. Most of our people will choose, when they go to sign up and you go as a group, most people want to eat together at an early dining. That doesn't mean that every night you have to go to that dining. You can, go on your own. You can order room service. You can do a specialty restaurant. You could just know that there is a set spot there every single night that you could eat with the group. And it's really nice to be able to share with your fellow passengers, what you did for the day and what experiences you had. So that's just a side note on that. So I want to tell you a little bit about the ship, the Epic. The Epic, well, first of all, it cost $1.2 billion to build this ship. It was the first ship they built in the Epic class series. It holds 4,100 people plus 1,724 crew members. It's 155,000 gross tons, which is considered a mid-sized ship anymore. It was just refurbished in 2020, and there's 19 decks with 20 different dining options. 7 dining options are complimentary. The other ones are specialty restaurants. They have 20 lounges and bars on board, 6 swimming pools, 9 jacuzzis, 16 elevators, mini golf, all of the normal, spa and everything, an award-winning casino, a bowling alley, and an ice bar on board this one. Ice bar, they've put on quite a few of their newer Norwegian ships. It's more like a vodka bar inside of it. They actually give you quilted jackets to wear when you go in. And everything's ice. The bar itself is ice. Tables, everything is ice in there. So it's a pretty cool experience. Sky Vodka partnered with Norwegian doing these, and it's a pretty cool experience doing those. They have lots and lots of entertainment options on this. Anybody who's cruised before, you'll know all of the normal Broadway style shows and comedians and ventriloquists and sing-alongs, all kinds of stuff on board. They do have a dueling piano bar, which is a little different. They also have some dinners that have shows, like dinner shows right on board, which is a little different. Literally, there's 24-hour, 7 days a week, 24/7 entertainment on this ship, which there's not a lot of ships that offer that. This is, as most ships are, a cashless system. So everything that you buy on board, spa treatments or shore excursions or gifts in the store, they have very nice stores on board this ship, is all billed to your card. The only place they take cash is the casino. Okay. Let me see. I want to go over about the luggage. I know we get a lot of customers asking us about, is luggage included or what airline? We don't know that this far out. We are not going to know that for a while, but it will be a major carrier. We only use FAA flights. So we do know that all airlines charge for bags except for Southwest. And most of the time we don't use Southwest because they don't open up their seats until much closer into the time of sailing, and we can't get groups on those typically. So every other airline as of now charges between $40 and $50 per for their first bag, as long as their first bag is 50 pounds or less. Okay. So we've gone over the itinerary and we've gone over the ship. I'm not sure if you have any other questions or if there's something I haven't thought of, but this is our time, so feel free.
I have a couple questions.
Certainly.
Are the flights direct?
It's a great question, and we don't know that at this point. These are flights that are going to be leaving from Baltimore. Typically, looking at flight schedules, no, they will not be. Most of the time, they're going to stop along the way to get to Rome.
More than one stop?
No, usually it's one.
Okay. Now, if you wanted to go a day early to get adjusted, is that also flight included?
Yes. Yes, we can get you a price on that to do a pre-night, or you could do it on your own. If you do it on your own and not through the cruise line, they're going to charge you, typically it's about $50 surcharge on your flights, only because they have blocked flights for the dates of their sailings, and that's when they do those. If we differ from that by a day or two, typically they charge 50. Sometimes they don't charge anything. So we can look into that if that's something you want to do.
And can you help with a hotel if we came a day early?
We can, yes.
Okay. And about how much are the excursions? What price range?
That's a pretty good question. You're going to have a huge difference in prices. Some of them, are going to be 70, probably most of them, $75 to $125. If you're doing just the normal city tours or something like that, like if you're talking about like that one that I wanted to do up to Mount Etna, where you're going to have the mud bath and it's an all day thing, and we had lunch included, that was like $200 and some odd a person. So,
Okay.
there's a wide variety, but every single one of the ports will have the lesser expensive and the more expensive ones. And it really depends, is lunch included? Is it an all day thing that they're paying a guide and driver for? Is there a boat included? All of these charges would go into it, but I would say pretty good 75 to 250. That's where 99% of your trips are going to be at.
Per person.
Per person.
And my last question is, what kind of insurance can we purchase for the trip?
So that's a great question. We use a company called Arch. They're a worldwide company. We can get rates on that. Actually, it is on the back of the deposit forms, the rates on that. And it really doesn't matter to us whether you use that or not. Here's the thing. Our company only does cruises. So we have all the normal things, trip cancellation, interruption, baggage delay, travel delay, all the normal things that go into insurance. The only difference that is really big with our company is the emergency medical evacuation. Most insurance companies cover between $20,000 and $25,000 in their plans. Ours is $250,000. Only because with cruises, God forbid, if somebody were to have a medical emergency, a heart attack on board, they'd have to bring a helicopter out to that ship. minimum cost for a helicopter to land on a ship is $75,000. So it would cover your helicopter, it would cover to the nearest hospital, your hospital fee, and airline ticket back home. So it can get costly on that. So what I'm saying is that if you do not use ours, which makes no difference in the world to us, just make sure that you buy a rider or something that covers enough in emergency medical evacuation.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Just remember too, we get $50 for one person in the cabin off of excursions. And it comes off when you, once you, the excursions come out and you click on it, it'll make it $50 less. So if it's 200, then it'll be 150 for you for that $50 credit and it doesn't matter how many excursions you have, it's just one per person per port.
So for every port, you can get $50 off of one person. Per
Yes,
excursion,
per cabin, yes.
per cabin. Oh,
And
that's,
we went on Norwegian last year to Norway, and I got $50 off of every excursion I took. Of course, my husband had to pay the full amount. For whatever reason, I guess my name was first, so they took mine off of every port we stopped at. We got $50 off of each excursion.
okay, great, thank you.
This trip here is truly a trip of a lifetime. You talk about the best ports in Greece and the best ports in Italy. You got it. This is the trip.
You can also stay when the ship docks in Rome the last day. You can do what Cherie was talking about the day before, coming a day before. You can stay the day after too if you want to do that. And they will arrange it for you or help you do it. Cherie's group will.
Okay, great, thank you.
I will say that the hotels in Rome are costly. They are.
Well, what time would you, how much time would you have between flying in and boarding the ship if you come on the same day?
Not much. You'll get in there that morning, typically about 9 o'clock, and maybe between 9 and 10, I should say. Well, you usually get in around 9, but if it's a little delayed, between 9 and 10 o'clock. So
And then it just takes you directly to the port. The transfers.
that's right. They'll take you right to the port.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, remember too, even though the plane gets there at 9 or 10, you got to pick up your luggage and find the Norwegian bus to take you to the port. But
Right.
there'll be people there in the airport to help you do that. Find the bus, that is.
Well, most people are coming together from Baltimore anyway.
Well, there could be people, we've got people all over the United States in MRSPA. So technically you could have people coming from anywhere in the US.
Oh, gotcha.
So it doesn't always have to be from Baltimore, but you're right. A majority will be Baltimore.
Okay.
And typically by the time you get through and you go down and locate your luggage, and they'll get it onto the motor coach for you, and you get over. I mean, it's a pretty long distance from the airport down to where the ship is too. So you usually get there around 12:30. So
And then you have to go through the ship stuff.
yeah.
And by the time you get on the ship, you're starving and you're ready to eat. And the lunch cafes are all busy because everyone's doing the same thing you're doing. So just be prepared.
Good tips. Thank you.
Any other questions? Well, and if anybody thinks of anything, of course, they can reach out to any of us, we can help you out.